Welcome to the Thunder Hour Podcast, hosted by Trey and James Hamilton, and produced by Leif Dietrich. Welcome back to the Thunder Hour Podcast, ladies and gents. This is episode 14. We're back at my place today. It's a terrible snowy afternoon after yesterday's big rainstorm, snowstorm, whatever you call it. But yeah, we're happily inside, nice and warm. I got my dad here with me again, so welcome back to the show, my dad, James. It's great to have you on the show, Dad, and we're looking forward to seeing what this episode brings us today. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad to be back hosting the Thunder Hour with my son. This
Yep.
is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good time. We got a lot to talk about, so we might as well just get started right away. We'll just do a little brief talk about the Delhi contest last week. It's today's Saturday, so we're going to be recording based upon last night's game in Elora, but we might as well just update you guys. We're not going to run highlights or anything, but we're just going to give you guys a little update of the Tillsonburg Thunder's 10-3 win over the Delhi Flames at home. I thought it was a great game, Dad, from the Thunder. I thought they made a big statement. That was their fourth and final contest against Delhi. And they end up finishing the season 4-0 against Delhi. Delhi, of course, did somehow sneak the one game into overtime, but McGuffin had the answer for that one. But yeah, 10-3 was the final score. Austin Forsyth got his first Western Ontario Super Hockey League hat trick that game.
Shout out, Austin.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, Austin's been making improvements all year. He's been great. And we'll even talk about it, and you guys will see it in the highlight package later on with the Elora game. He had a great game again. He just continues to get better. And I thought Andre Waugh, Dad, I thought he had a good start. He looked pretty solid in there. Wazzy hadn't started in a while. It'd been just over or near a month that he hadn't played. But it was good to get him back in the net. I thought he looked really good in there. What'd you see from the Thunder in that 10-3 win over Delhi?
Yeah, it was a great contest all around. Like we had said, like going into the break on my birthday, sadly the boys, let us down against Woodstock, but that's okay. I forgive them. They came out into the new year, and that was the first game of the new year for the Thunder, and made a big time statement. I believe it was 6-0 at the end of the first period. Yeah. They weren't messing around. As you said, Andre hadn't played for a while, but he looked very solid in there. I think the second goal maybe he might have liked to have back, but outside of that, he played a really solid game all around. First two periods, the Thunder just dominated and kind of just took us home from there. Thanks to our friend Austin, we got a copper mug coupon there for a free appetizer, and of course with the Thunder pouring it on with the 10 goals. Another shout out to Domino's. 5-4. We all got a free pizza to go home that night too. As you said, I think they made a great statement coming out of the break and showed who the boss of the Oxford County / Delhi matchup is.
Yeah, the Battle of Highway 3.
Yeah, the Highway 3 matchup. Yeah, and we showed them who the big brother is. So congrats, boys. Good game. And it was a great atmosphere. The kids were loving it. A little kid was banging the drum that night. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I just had a great time, and I'm so looking forward to again tonight to go back on home ice once again to have the back end of the back-to-backs against the Elora Rocks tonight.
Yeah, should be awesome.
Looking forward to that.
Yep, so we might as well jump over to the first game against Elora. So for those who didn't know, we play a home and home against the Rocks this weekend. Yesterday's contest, it was kind of up in the air. It was weather pending. We weren't sure. There were some rumors about cancellation, and then half the guys were already on their way up, so they ended up just going through with the game. It was kind of funny because we watched the game from home. We were going to make the trip up ourselves, and then obviously the weather was not cooperating. So my girlfriend actually goes to school in Kitchener at Conestoga College, and on her way back home, she actually got stuck. She had to get off the highway. It was a nightmare. So she didn't even get home till 8:27, I believe it was, and the puck drop was scheduled for 8:30. So I made a joke. I don't think we can make it to Elora in 3 minutes, but anyway, we enjoyed the game from home, and it was funny to see because you could tell some of the Thunder hadn't quite shown up, or they were in the room getting ready. And we turn on the game, and the Rocks are already all on the ice. They're all out there getting ready, trying to get this thing going. And we got just Braden Roberts and Sagrot on the ice, and they start the anthem. And Robbie's like, "What's going on here? I'm out here by myself." And then I saw the head ref decided to come over and give Robbie some company and stand beside him for the anthem. So that was kind of funny. We got a good laugh out of that one. And yeah, Sags was in the net. He was ready to go. But we were saying, imagine they just drop the puck and it's just Robbie versus
Yeah,
5 Rocks. He's just,
five. We got this.
I mean, Robbie is one of the best shorthanded players in the league, but I don't know if a 1-on-5 would go to his benefit. But anyway, all jokes aside, Thunder did eventually everybody get there that was supposed to get there. I know a couple guys didn't end up making the trip just because of the weather, and we'll keep our eyes on it today too. Obviously, it's currently snowing here in Tillsonburg, so I know that the guys up in Elora, they are used to driving around in the snow, or you're up there in Fergus area, but still, obviously, player safety is our number one concern, so we'll keep our eyes on everything today. Hopefully, we do have a game tonight, but as of right now, again, that's all up in the air. We're not sure. It does suck that the home and home with Elora just so happened to be, for us, the worst weather weekend of the year so far. But anyway, we traveled up to Elora, actually Fergus. I keep saying Elora, even though they play in Fergus up until, I believe, the end of January. We took on the 8-7-2 Elora Rocks. We entered the contest second place, sitting with a 12-2-1 record. And it was a great game all around, and we got some highlights to back that up. It was feisty. It was just one of those games where you could tell the temperature was getting high. It was a close game in the first period. Neither team wanted to give an inch. And then second period, everything just exploded. Third period, emotions got high. We had a couple scraps. So yeah, we got the highlight package for you. And these are going to be Tillsonburg Thunder highlights brought to you by Domino's Pizza, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the highlights. It's time for Tillsonburg Thunder highlights brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Hockey night up in Fergus, where the 12-2-1 Tillsonburg Thunder traveled up to meet the 8-7-2 Elora Rocks. This one was a great contest start to finish. First period scoreless, so we jump right into it in the second period. Brandon Kudo gets the Thunder on the board on a beautiful assist from Jamie McQueen and Jamie Forsland. Thunder strike first. We do apologize for the audio of this video. We had some audio issues up in Elora, so that's why I'm going to be doing the voiceover, but we jump right ahead to Brandon Kudo getting his second of the game on this gorgeous pass from Forsyth backhand right to McQueen in front, and Kudo pops the bottle. Back-to-back goals for Coots. That would be the ultimate game winner. Thunder grabbed the 2-0 lead. Just a couple minutes later, though, Elora on the power play. Skrolopoulos takes a shot from the point, deflected off the leg of Colton Wyzek and past the goaltender. Matt Sagra, tough break there for the Thunder. Elora gets the power play goal, and they're back within one. Thunder weren't done scoring, though, in the first period. Look at this rush from Kyle Baker and Josh Van Beesen. Two rookies, a beautiful move, and ultimately a 2-goal lead restored for the Thunder. We jump ahead to the third period now. A gorgeous play from the Thunder. A shot from the point deflected by Sheldon Thompson. Another assist for Kyle Baker. Thompson gets his 8th of the season in his first game back in the lineup. Later in the period, Anthony Geldart would square off with Chad Herron, and the two combatants would battle it out after a feisty night up in Fergus. Great tilt for both guys, two willing combatants, two experienced veterans, and they definitely brought the fans who made the trip out in the tough weather to their feet, both teams saluting their players. Later on, Thunder shorthanded. Braden Roberts steals the puck here, makes a beautiful cut to the middle of the ice, and goes forehand, backhand, top shelf. Beautiful goal from Roberts, and the Thunder penalty kill, aka power kill, strikes again. Thunder now leading 5-1. Elora looking to get something going. Intercepted, though, by the Thunder. Here they come, 2-on-1. Forsyth and McQueen. Forsyth to McQueen, back of the net. And that would be it for Colin Dunn. He throws his stick in frustration and leaves the ice. Former Western Ontario Super Hockey League champion, frustrated with his team's effort tonight. Later in the period, Matt Sagra, Thunder goaltender, would get a snow shower. Kyle Brzezinski takes exception, and here we go. Ballmer and Brzezinski throwing the hands. Second fight of the night up in Elora, and this one was an absolute dandy. Both combatants laying the rights and the lefts. This one brought the players to their feet. As we said, A heated contest throughout here. Jamie McQueen's going to take a puck off the wall, chip it behind the net, and Theo Peckham lays a dirty cheap shot right in the back in the numbers of Jamie McQueen. Referees instantly signal for him to go hit the showers. Hopefully the league takes a look at that one, but McQueen would get his revenge on that same power play, fires a shot. Sheldon Thompson knocks in the rebound, gets his second of the game. Thunder take this one up in Elora. Final score 7-1, and the two teams will meet back at the Thunderdome tonight. Puck drop 7:30. Those were Tillsonburg Thunder highlights brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Thunder come out on top in Fergus. Final score 7-1. And as you guys saw, it was a chippy game. There were some big hits. There was a couple of scraps. It's very rare to actually see a two-fight game in the Washel, but you know, things kind of got boiled over, but the Thunder kept their foot on the gas, and from the start of that second period to the end of the third at that final buzzer, it was just all Thunder all the time. Love to see it. We had some power play goals. We had a shorthanded goal. Again, the Thunder spreading out the offense. Multiple guys scoring in multiple different ways. I thought it was a great game, Dad. And like I said, it was kind of chippy. Right from the start, you could tell. Like it was a chippy game for sure.
Yeah, they kind of went back and forth, kind of like a heavyweight bout. The first period, each team kind of threw a few jabs. Goaltenders made some great stops. Kept it at an even 0-0. Going into the second, you could just kind of see Tillsonburg starting to get their feet wet, get going. And Brandon, of course, got him off the schneid there to get the scoring started there with his first of the game to make it 1-0. And then kind of from there, like it seemed like the Thunder just kind of picked it up. And the Rock didn't know how to respond. Sorry, the Rocks did not know how to respond. As you said, our depth is really challenging for a lot of teams. Like even if you can shut down some of the better high-end players, the next guys and the next man up, man, they just keep coming at you in waves. And yeah, it really did turn into quite a feisty, fight-filled third period there. I mean, it was only 3-1 going into the third, so it was still anyone's game at that point. And like I said, Tillsonburg, as they want to do, they just get better as the game goes. And by the end of that, they showed who the better team was, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. It was like you said, that first period, it was both goaltenders, Colin Dunn and Matt Sagrot, played really well. Like there were some challenging shots. We were watching it from home, and I know Elora doesn't have the greatest view in Fergus of like the camera. You can we had it on the TV. I was kind of sitting up close so I could see where the puck was at times, but you could tell there's a couple really challenging stops for Sagrot and Dunn, and they held their teams in there. It was just kind of feeling each other out, and I know these two teams met 2 years ago now, which will be 3 years now as we're into 2024 in the Washel Championship in the Super Cup, the first ever Super Cup. And Elora got the best of us. So, you know, ever since then, the Thunder have been trying to get back and get at these guys. And they did well last year against them. And then they started it out this year with their first matchup coming on top 7-1. Brandon Kudo, as Dad said, got the Thunder on the board. And then he got another one just a couple of minutes later on a beautiful play. Forsyth went down on the left wing. It was dumped in. I love the play because it was a face-off play from the neutral zone. They won the face-off back to Jamie Forsland. He dumped it in. Forsyth went in on the the left wing, found the puck, slung a nice no-look backhander right to McQueen. And the McQueen, instead of taking that shot, which we know he can wire it, but he saw Kudo coming in on his right side, and everybody bit on McQueen taking the shot, and he just slid it over, and Kudo just one-timer, popped the bottle. It was a beautiful sight, and that kind of got things going. And unfortunately, the Thunder did take a penalty just a couple minutes later, and then Elora did get on the board. It was a tough break. It was hard to tell from the broadcast perspective how it ended up getting through Sags, but after breaking it down and watching the highlight, when I created the highlight package, it looked like it just deflected off the shin pad of Colton Wycek. And Colton, just keep getting in the way of those shots, man. I know that unfortunately sometimes tough breaks, it goes off you, but you and other young guys and even the veterans on this team, you guys are consistently blocking shots, and I know your goaltenders appreciate it. I remember having chats with Sags about that earlier in the year, that you guys are only giving up 25 to 30 shots a game because you guys are getting in those shot lanes. So obviously it's a tough break, Colton, but we appreciate everything you do, laying your body on the line for the Tillsonburg Thunder. It's awesome to see. And yeah, unfortunately, like I said, that did result in a goal, but it didn't hurt the Thunder in the end because they would get another goal just a minute and a half later. and it was the two rookies, Kyle Baker and Josh Van Beesen. I know from our perspective here, you could see, I know the camera's a little bit behind, but I saw the play get chipped up to Bakes, and he went down that right wing side. He made a little inside out stutter step move, and Van Beesen went to the net, and he just had the stick down, and they were wide open net. Like, no chance for the goaltender. And that's one of the things I wanted to touch on, Dad, for Elora's sake. Their goaltender was really left out to dry last night.
Yeah, and I think he'd had enough by the time the sixth one had entered the cage. He
Yeah.
threw the stick, and he said, you know what, coach, I'm taking myself out. But no,
Yeah.
I felt bad for him as a goaltender. Sometimes you're playing well, and you just can't help it. I mean, the 2-on-1s, backdoor passes. I mean, what are you really supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he kept them in there, and it was the team, I think, in front of them that kind of lost their composure and allowed some of that skill and speed of Tillsonburg to exploit some of their defensive weaknesses. And as you said, it made the score look bad, but no, he played a good game. I mean, overall, as I said, 3-1 going into the third. It was still anyone's contest. As I said, after the sixth goal, he pulled himself. You could just see the frustration, and you know, you got to feel for him. But I mean, that's hockey, right? This is at a pro level. You don't feel sorry for anybody. You keep pouring it on if you can, right? And sadly, it seemed to, after that goal, escalate. That's kind of when we seen some of the Donnybrook starting up and
started to get a little chippy after
some of that dirty play going on. Which, I mean, to me, like, I get it. You know, emotions are high. You're losing to a team that you're trying to, you know, compete with in the standings. And as you said, Tillsonburg's trying to come in and make a statement from a few years ago. So I can understand the emotional aspect, but yeah, I got a little chippy after that. We'll discuss that in a minute here.
Yeah, Sheldon Thompson had a 2-goal third period. So both Tomer and Kudo. Tomer had been away from the team for almost a month. It was his first game back in the lineup. He got a 2-goal period. I can't remember. It was the fourth goal. And it was a puck along the side wall. So Dunn went behind the net, the goaltender. He stopped the puck, left it for his defenseman. His defenseman teed it up along the wall. And then Chris Knotts, with a beautiful pinch, he jumped in. He deflected it. One of those, just put the stick down in front of the winger, and it just went off his stick, went right to Kyle Baker. Thompson saw that. He went flying right to the net. Baker took the shot. It just deflected off Thompson. And I remember Dunn looking around for it, and it just went whoop right up over his shoulder and into the net, and he was frustrated. That's where his frustration really started to show for me. That made it 4-1, and then you could tell the Rocks, like you just said, they started to get playing a little bit more physical. They started looking for hits. They started, instead of focusing on trying to get back in the game, it seemed to me like Elora just wanted to start trying to hurt somebody, get out there and just try to lay the body or make a statement. And, you know, unfortunately for them, the statement ended up backfiring on them because the Thunder just kept pouring it on. So Thompson got that one. And then the fifth goal of the game, Dad, I know we always compare Braden Roberts to our favorite guy on our Philadelphia Flyers, Travis Konechny. And Robbie does it just like T-Con on the penalty kill. I don't know if you remember, it was a beautiful play. He intercepted a pass and took it in. Forehand, backhand, top shelf. It was a beautiful goal from Roberts.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Like you said, he's got that knack, shorthanded, to just kind of put the pressure on the puck carrier, and he stole that puck, and he did it all solo. That was a beaut. That was a beaut. Stole the puck right around center ice, and the rest was history. And that, I think that really got them going, because at that point, as you said, it's 4-1. They're on a power play, you know, a chance to get the game back to within 2 goals, and instead Robbie steps in and says, nope, we're going to make this a 5-1 lead, boys. So it just seemed to kind of continue to escalate from there. But no, what a play. Great play by Braden.
Yep, it was a neutral ice, and Elora started their breakout, and it would have been the left defenseman tried to make a pass over to the right winger, because the right defenseman was actually peeling off on a change. So it just timed out perfectly for Robbie. He jumped in the middle, stole that pass. The right defenseman, I believe it was Theo Peckham, who we will touch on in a minute, he decided to just coast off the ice and get to the bench. Well, his replacement can't just jump on and start immediately attacking our forward coming in on a break, because then that's going to be a too many men penalty. So he had to wait for his guy to get off, which gave Robbie that extra step. I think the left defenseman was expecting his right defenseman to be there, and he unfortunately was coasting over to the bench. And then Robbie just broke to the net, and you could see the frustration. Dunn wasn't angry with Roberts on that play. How can you be angry for getting scored on? It happens, but he was mad at his team. He was mad at his defenseman, who unfortunately played in the National Hockey League and just did not have it last night, or many nights this year, we've heard. So unfortunately for Dunn, like I said, you got to feel for him. But for Robbie, heck of a goal. Thunder continue to take that shorthanded goal lead and just climb with it game after game. They seem to be getting on the board shorthanded, which is something that in the postseason if you're able to score against some of these elite power plays, we saw that with Stratford last year. I remember telling you that while we were getting ready to line up who we would be playing in the championship after coming back against Tilbury, I went in and looked at it, and ironically, Stratford played these same Elora Rocks in the semifinal. And I believe there was one game where the game sheet had it listed that Stratford had 4 shorthanded goals in the same game, and they won the game like 5-3. So when 4 of your 5 goals are shorthanded, it goes to show you, yes, you may get into penalty trouble, and Tilsonburg is the 2nd or 3rd most penalized team in the league. So yes, we do sometimes get into penalty trouble, but when you're able to cash in and get goals back like that, it's incredible. And I'm really happy to see it. And then Jamie McQueen would end up chasing Dunn from the net. It was another turnover. The Rocks were in the Thunder zone. And I remember both of us were like, uh-oh, they got the pressure on. And then the puck was poked away. I believe it might have been Chris Knotts again. And then it created a 2-on-1. It was Austin Forsyth and Jamie McQueen. And I think earlier on in the season when Forsyth was trying to figure out the senior game, I think he might have tried to shoot that when he was coming in on the 2-on-1, maybe even try to shoot for a rebound. But instead, he patiently outweighted the defender, swung it around his body, and Jamie McQueen, I mean, he's going to score when the goalie's in the net. And Dunn was diving over trying to get in between Forsyth and the shooter, and he missed it. And McQueen, it was just a wide open net. He just tapped it in. Queener, shout out, 4-point game again. Queener, ladies and gents, entering this contest tonight. As mentioned, weather pending, because the winds are at about 100 kilometers an hour right now. I can see my neighbor's trees blowing around like this, but weather pending. If we play tonight, Jamie McQueen, just a side note for those of you in the crowd, is 2 points away from breaking his own Washel regular season total for scoring. Last season, he had 41 points in 22 games. This season, he has 16 games played, and he's at 40 points. So a 2-point effort tonight from Queener would push him over the edge and get him up to 42 and secure him his career high, in Washel points. So hopefully he can get that. But yeah, another 4-point effort from McQueen, Dad. And then things got a little dicey after the 6th goal. We had our first scrap of the game. Kane Geldart got hit from behind. It was another one of those unnecessary plays. And, I don't like to see it. Nobody likes to see it. Galdi was coming in on the offensive. It would have been the right wing side. He got an Elora player, got him in the numbers, and he was a little bit slow getting up. I think he was frustrated. Kaner doesn't fight a lot, even though in the OHL he did scrap a lot. But as you get older, you get a job and stuff, right? You don't want to be out losing teeth over playing in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. But credit to him, he stood up for himself. It was a good scrap. Both combatants were willing to go. Shout out to the guy in Elora who cheap shotted him and then said, "I'm willing to go." He didn't just back off, right? Yeah. He answered the bell. That was the first scrap. I thought it was a pretty good tilt, and I believe that might actually come after the 5th goal. I apologize. Just getting my timing mixed up. But yeah, they didn't really get a lot of punches, Dad, but I thought it was still a good scrap to, assert yourself and say, no, I'm not going to let you push me around if you're Geldart. And the other guy standing up and saying, I acknowledge that, I hit you from behind. I'm going to stand up as well. We're going to duke it out. So
Yeah, that's old time hockey, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes you take some liberties at somebody, and at least, like you said, he was willing to stand up for himself, answer the bell. I think as you said, emotions were starting to get high at that point because Tilsonburg was kind of taking over the game. And I mean, it's natural, right? It's not good, but it's guys, right? Mm-hmm. You start getting down and you know what, if we're not going to win the war, we're at least going to win this battle. But no, they both stood up for what was right. It was a little bit more, as you said, more of like a, kind of, they really kind of grabbed on to one another. There wasn't a lot of haymakers on, but it's good to see. Like I said, I mean, you got to stand up for yourself, and you got to answer the bell when you're going to throw a cheap shot out there. So it kind of got things going in that direction, and then it kind of went
boiled over
further down, as we saw when we had Kyle getting his dust up.
Brzezinski. Yeah, that was an interesting play because, so from our vantage point, we thought there was a penalty upcoming to Tilsonburg on the play, but it wasn't. So Elora had chipped the puck in deep, and Matt Sagrot went out to play the puck. Sags played along the wall, and then the Elora player came in and almost like he was going to hit him. He didn't end up hitting him because that would have, all hell would have broken loose. You don't hit a team's starting goaltender. That would have been not good. But he stopped and gave this huge snow shower to Sags, and he did give him a tiny bump. And all I saw from our vantage point, Sags getting the heck out of there, and then Brzezinski just came in, no questions asked, dropped the mitts, and bang, bang, they went at it, and it was a good scrap. Both guys were bleeding. Like, it was a good scrap. And I
yeah.
remember the very last punch Brzezinski threw, he got him with this big uppercut. And I just remember seeing the other guy's head snap back, and I thought, thank God I don't play in this hockey league, because
No
a
kidding.
guy like Brzezinski, young guy, but he's a big, solid dude. And the other guy he was fighting was a bigger guy too.
Yeah, he was a big
6'2",
dude.
6'3". But Burzy, I know he ended up getting the visor or something up on the top of his helmet, clipped his forehead, and he was bleeding. And I know, like I said, I saw the other guy bleeding. He was checking his face on his way off the ice. So great tilt, but again, unnecessary. It didn't need to happen in like a 2-1 game, and you're trying to create momentum. I get that, but huge snow shower on Sags, and then almost bumping into him. Unnecessary, but shout out to Brzezinski, Big Kyle. That's his second scrap of the year. And both have been really entertaining scraps now.
And standing up for his goaltender, man.
Yeah.
I know that my best friends on my teams growing up were always my defensemen and my goalposts, of course, because they both helped me out. But no, it's good to see. I mean, like, we're vulnerable out there. We're wearing the pillows. You're out trying to play the puck. Like you said, if he'd have been run over, that would have probably been a brawl. But it's just nice for Kyle to stand up. Like, young man, character man. I love watching his game, whether he's playing forward or defense. He's always contributing, doing what the team needs him to do to be successful, and standing up for his boy, Matt. That's awesome, man. I loved it. And I mean, you know what? If you're going to come at us and be dirty after we've taken a significant lead against you, the Thunder can play whatever you want. They'll stand up for themselves. They're not a pushover team that's scared to mix it up. And that's what I like about these guys. When they're on their game, they'll play any style you want. They'll run and gun. They'll shut you down. They'll play physical. I'm just very proud of this team in general. They do a great job as a team. And like I said, coming out of the break, we had that disappointing loss, as we know, to end the season. And sorry, the first part of the season. And they've put in 17 goals since then. And only allowed, 4.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 against Delhi and 1. So, I mean, it's a statement. I think this is the time of year that the season's starting to tighten up a little bit more, right? We're getting closer to the end, and
It's crunch
I
time.
think you're going to start seeing, like the cream rise to the top, right? And like I said, these guys can do it all, man. They'll mix it up. They'll put up a 10 spot against you. They'll shut you down. And if you get in our face, we're not going to back down from anybody, right?
Well, look at that game last night. It was looking like it was going to be a 2-1, 3-1 final, just the way they played in the first period. But as the Thunder have done all year, when they score, they could just bang, bang, bang. They just score in bunches. Like, Laura got back in the game last night with that power play goal, and it was 2-1. And we were both like, uh-oh, Laura's back in it, you know? And then right away, Baker and Van Beesen,
Instantaneous
two
response,
young guys that are still trying to figure out the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. 2-on-1, Bakes, unselfish, feathers it across, and it was just a one of those where we sat down and we realized, you know what, this is what's going to separate the Thunder from other teams in this league, is the depth of this team and the ability to go out and answer when things like that happen. And obviously we still got to figure it out against teams like Stratford and Tilbury, but I'm confident in these guys that they can go out and get that done, because I think it's more of a mental battle when we play those teams. And I think that when we do come around, when we roll around, we'll be playing Tilbury later in this month and Stratford early next month. I think that when we roll around to those games, I think the boys will be battle tested and well prepared. And you could tell 100% from top to bottom of this roster, these guys are bought in. Every single guy, they want to win, and they want to do what it takes to win. And you can see that game in, game out, practice in, practice out. And I respect the heck out of it. So, but at the end of the game, we'll just touch on it quick as we get up near 30 minutes right now. Theo Peckham, as mentioned, former NHLer, scrapper, big guy. I mean, he's bigger than anybody on the ice. Like, you could see him on the freaking highlights. He's double the size of anybody out there. It was just unnecessary. I'm still frustrated about it because he took a run at our best player with under 5 minutes left. Unnecessary cheap shot. Thunder on the power play. Jamie McQueen gets the puck at the point on the right side, chips it down low, and it felt like it was about 5 seconds later. Peckham came in and he ran him from behind, face first into the glass. McQueen definitely Quinner probably woke up with the stiff neck this morning. I could definitely say that. 5 minutes in a game misconduct. Based on, from what we've heard, league has reviewed the hit and has dished out a 5-game suspension to Theo Peckham, so he will not be here tonight, which I kind of wish he was, because we have a couple names in the lineup that would probably be able to go and teach him a thing or two, even though he's a huge guy. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And you take a shot at our best player with under 5 minutes left. You know what, Peckham, you're a former NHLer, buddy. You should be better than this. That's a joke, in my opinion. He knew what he was doing. He did it on purpose. And you know what? There's a price to pay, and I guess the Pipers decided that his price to pay is 5-game suspension. So Elora's already falling apart this year. They started out decent. They've fallen off a cliff. They're old. They're slow. They're not competitive. And all they have is a really good goaltender, and he's getting no help out there. Now one of his best defensemen goes and takes a run at our best player for no reason and gets himself a 5-game suspension with only, I think, 6 games left in the season for them. It's a joke. No place for it in this game. This is the Western Ontario Super Hockey League, as that logo right underneath me says. We are trying to promote a brand of semi-pro hockey that is elite, fast, young, talented, entertaining. And we don't have room for stuff like that on a Friday night in the middle of a snowstorm to take a run at a guy who, Queener is a great guy off the ice. Queener will make you laugh. He's very serious on the ice. He wants to go out, handle business. He doesn't have a lot of emotion on the ice. But one thing I will say to Peckham is you do not want to wake up the giant that is the Tillsonburg Thunder. And you just pissed us off tonight. And if you guys do make the trip, and as I said, weather pending, I don't think it's going to be a pretty sight for you guys tonight. So what were your thoughts on that hit? That is my little rant's over.
No, I understand. Well, I mean, it's 6-1 at that point. The best guy on the team, power play. I mean, really completely unnecessary. The numbers are there. I mean, we're taught from little kids, see numbers, let up. He did it on purpose. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what he was thinking. They have another game against us tonight. So, I mean, I guess you want to send a message. Well, how is that a message, right? I'll go get myself suspended for 5 games.
Yeah.
I'm unsure that what was going through his mind at the time, but I guess he thought, oh, we're not going to get bullied around in our own barn. Well, you know what? It ended up, we got another goal after that to make it a 7-1 final. And as you said, he's now facing it up, not being able to play because of a foolish decision, right? I'm glad Queener's okay. I'm glad he was able to get up. I believe he got the assist on the last goal on the 5-on-3 at that point, just to kind of add a little insult to injury.
Yeah,
to
he wanted
guys.
to get the salt in the wound.
Yeah, definitely. But as I said, I agree with your assessment. Like, I love hockey. I love physical hockey. But stuff like that in a game when it's already pretty much decided, it's so unnecessary. You've got a guy who's had, professional experience. He's privileged to have been able to play in the NHL. And it kind of makes it like, I don't want to have the connotation of Bush League going on with the Washall. I want what Bill and Jamie and stuff are building to continue this, as you said, speed, talent, skill. We pay money to watch guys like Jamie go out and score, and Kevin Hugh and some of these stars in this league, and we don't need to see them getting run from behind in a 5-goal game at that point, right? It's just totally unnecessary. So hopefully, lesson learned for him. We want to see guys with that skill level of Peckham in this league, but we just don't need to see that kind of dirty play going on at that portion of a game.
It's true. And he was just frustrated because, like you said, his team was getting their arses handed to them, and he took a shot and he saw our best player. And he said, I don't care if it's numbers, head, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And to be honest, it was kind of a little bit of both. So, but yeah, lesson learned hopefully for him. Hopefully that 5-game seat will teach him not to do stuff like that. And I know that this league is not shy to, if you are going to take shots like that, you'll be out of the league quicker than you can blink your eye. So, yeah, that kind of took care of that. We will just quickly say Thunder did get the 5-on-3. McQueen stayed out there for the whole 5-on-3. The whole line changed. He stayed out there. And you saw it, Dad. Every guy on the ice was just giving it to him. They were just like, yeah, Queener, you do this.
You need to get your answer back for what happened to you, right?
Well, exactly. He fired a shot right into the mid-chest, lower chest area of the goaltender, and it's such a hard shot. It leaked right through, and the goalie's sitting there squeezing, even though the puck's sitting right beside him, and Thompson just poked it in. So, yeah, we might as well just change it on the score sheet. Give Queener that one. Give Tomer the primary just to give Queener gets the last off. But no, all jokes aside, great game from the Thunder, 7-1 final up in Elora. Fergus, I keep saying Elora, sorry. They, as I said, should have their renovations done by the end of this month. And Matt Sagra, good contest for him. He ended up stopping 27-28 shots, only allowing the 1 goal. It was a tough break off a defenseman's leg, but that's hockey. Things happen, deflections, piss everybody off, offensively and defensively. So, but a great game from Sags. I thought he really held them in there in the first. It could have been a 1-0, 2-0 game for Elora if Sags didn't hold them in there, and then the boys just foot on the gas. And now we switch over to tonight. Thunder regained first place. Petrolia lost to Elvinston last night 3-1. Tilsonburg beats Elora, so Tilsonburg gets to 13-2-1 to get to 27 points on the season. They overtake Petrolia and now still have those games in hand. And our next game following tonight, as mentioned a million times, weather pending because I'm looking outside.
It's getting
It's
worse.
a stinking blizzard out there.
As
But weather
we're filming
pending,
this.
whatever, it doesn't matter. Our next game after tonight is against Petrolia. So another chance to take that momentum and ride it even further into first place. So now we comfortably sit in the one spot with games in hand on pretty much every team except Alvinston, who we will play twice next month. And tonight, Dad, it's round 2. It's time to get the bell going again. Ding, ding, ding. Round 1's done. We beat the crap out of them, and we'll see if they can respond tonight. I don't know. 8-2 coming into the game for the Rocks, so under 500 team. They do have the 2 overtime losses, so they have basically a 9-8 record if you want to give them the loser points, and we have a loser point, so I can't hate on anybody for doing what the league has instituted point-wise. But yeah, we're 13-2-1. I think tonight we got to go out there and show them we're first place, and we got to show them back-to-back nights. You punch us in the face, we're going to punch you right back in the mouth twice as hard.
It is the Washel, right? So anything can happen. They got to bring their game. As you said, Laura's a 500 team. We've faced 500 teams before. We can't really get caught up into that trap of like what happened last night. We kind of got to move on from that. Hopefully we can keep our emotions in check. I've stated it many times since I've been on the podcast with you, like, and as a fan of this team, they get better as they go. And if they can stay, as a unit and do what they do, which is play hockey, they got so much skill, so much speed. They should be able to come out on top.
Yeah.
I just hope, as I said, that last night's emotions don't kind of boil over into this game. They're probably going to try to draw us into a chippy type of game again because they just found out last night, man, it's, these guys are got a lot of skill. So we got to try to not take the bait on that one. I think as long as they do what they're capable of doing, which is going out, using their speed, using their skill, keeping those lines just rolling out, I think that they're going to come out on top again tonight. And I'm looking forward to, like you said, hopefully we can get out there. Every time I look out the window, it's getting worse and worse here. But, they were able to get a game in last night. So let's hope we can get one in tonight. And as I said, Thunder Boys, if you can just do your thing, don't get baited. You go out, you play hockey the way you can. Stand up for yourselves, obviously, where it's called for. But just play your game. I think we're going to see the Thunder come out on top and sweep this back-to-back with Elora this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we are the better team in this matchup. I think that we are more focused, and I think that we, as I said, the guys are bought in. We know that. We could tell just from the way that the players are carrying themselves out there, they want to go out and win a championship. And you have to do that first by establishing yourself in the regular season, and they are doing that right now. I personally feel it's going to be 8-3, 8-2, somewhere around there. I think Elora will get a couple, but I think Tilsonburg will pull away. And if Colin Dunn's not starting tonight, which after his outburst last night, I don't see him making the trip or starting tonight. Even if he does make the trip, I think the Thunder will come away with a pretty big win in this one. I'm going 8-2 is my prediction, Dad. What do you got?
I can see it being a tight game again early on in the game, but I just feel the way they play, the Thunder, that as the game progresses, I think they will take hold almost as it was last night. I'm going to go on a limb. I'll say 6-2 for the Thunder tonight. That way we'll still get our pizza that way. Hopefully 3 goals come from one of the same players. And but I'm looking forward to a tight, entertaining game. I think especially, as I said early on, I think you're going to see some of that emotion boil over from last night. And so it's hockey, man. It's always better when you're playing someone back to back because of the emotions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't seen these guys all season, so to have a game like that as the first one, tonight's going to be a great night to be at the hockey arena for sure.
If we do get the game in tonight, it's going to be 1,000% worth the $12 of admission in Tilsonburg. I'm super super excited to see it because after last night's game, as mentioned by Dad, the physicality is going to be turned up. Just like he said, Thunder, don't get bought into the Elora trap game. Elora doesn't output a lot of offense. They're not an offensive team. You look at a lot of their scores. The games they do win are like 3-2 in overtime, 4-3, 2-1. They don't win a lot of these shootout games. So if you can go out there, get through that tight checking in the first period, start wearing them down, and then just explode like you did last night in the second, third period, and do what the Thunder do best, strike in bunches, I think the Thunder will definitely come out on top. That's going to pretty much wrap it up here for this week's episode of Thunder Hour Podcast. We're going to shout a couple of things out. Got a couple things lined up. Stay tuned. Next week, we are looking to It'll probably be Dad and I again. We'll see what Leaf's up to. But we are going to be attempting our best to have Mr. Jamie McQueen, Western Ontario Super Hockey League All-Star, one of the top players in this league. We're looking to have Queener on the podcast next week via Zoom. It should be very entertaining. So everybody, mark your calendars. Episode 15 next week. We're looking to have Jamie McQueen here on Thunder Hour. It should be a great time. And also, we're looking to possibly start something up tonight. If not tonight, it will be next week against Petrolia, where we're going to bring our little setup we have here to the Thunderdome. And post-game, we're going to do a little recording or potentially even a live stream on YouTube of either Dad and I, Leaf and I, all three of us. And we're going to have fans, players, management, coaches, whoever wants. They're going to come up to the bar after the game. We'll be in the Marwood Lounge. We'll have our little table set up. And if you're a fan and you got something fun to say, keep the language PG. If you're too under the influence from those amazing twisted teas that we have up in the Marwood Lounge, try to hold yourself back. But if you got some input on the game, if you want to just have a chat with us, shout out the rest of Thunder Nation, shout out the players, whoever it is, come up to the Marwood Lounge after the game, about half hour after the contest concludes. We'll be up in the lounge, either starting this game tonight or next game against Petrolia, and we'll be doing about half hour, 45 minutes of just chatting with people, bringing some players in, asking them how they felt that night. Obviously, it's gonna be kind of play it by ear tonight, but hopefully we can get everything set up. I'm really looking forward to it, Dad. Hopefully, obviously, you can join us for that. But thanks again for joining us today, Dad. I really appreciate it. It's awesome doing the show with you. And just before we send it off, what are you feeling for tonight, energy-wise, and just your kind of closing thoughts on this week's episode?
Yeah, I think, as I said, if we can come out the way that we're capable of, I think we're going to come out on top. I'm looking forward, if the weather holds up and we get the game in, to see a nice crowd out there. I mean, we're not the arena's close for everybody, so we can walk. We'll get the snowshoes out if we got to. But I'm hoping that we, as the fans, I always call us the seventh man, we can build that energy and momentum, and let's try to get the Thunder another win, go for a perfect weekend and a perfect start to 2024.
Yeah.
Let's go Thunder. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, for my dad, I am Trey. We are signing off from Tillsonburg, Ontario. Have a great afternoon, Tillsonburg. We will see you tonight. Everybody stay safe on the roads. Hopefully things pan out. Hopefully the snow slows down. And ultimately, most importantly, let's go Thunder.